Chapter 63 of The Ice Monster by David Walliams, narrated by me. Chapter 63 Surrender! Surrender! Boomed a voice over the loud hailer from HMS Argonaut as it drew up alongside the Victory. Never! Came a chorus of voices from HMS Victory. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. We said never. Did you say never? Yes. Sorry, it's hard to hear. You don't have a loud hailer you could use, do you? No. What was that? We said no. That's a shame. We know. Sorry, what was that? We said we know. Thank you. Now our orders are to return the ice monster to London. It is the property of Her Majesty the Queen. All the old soldiers looked to Elsie. She told them, Woolly isn't property of anyone. Oh, no, it's not, began a chorus from the HMS Victory. Oh, yes, it is, came the voices back. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, yes, it is. Are we the pantomime? Asked the brigadier. If you return the creature to us, then there is no need for us to open fire. Do you surrender? No. I'm pretty sure that was a no. Yes. Sorry. Yes, that was a no. Or yes, because it was a yes. It was a no. Thank you. Our pleasure. Thank you. Not at all. Then prepare for battle. Oh, cool, that took him long enough, muttered Dotty. HMS Argonaut inched closer to HMS Victory. The young sailors looked across at the old soldiers. The two groups nodded to each other politely. They were all British after all. Finally, the captain of HMS Argonaut gave the order. Attack! Chapter 64 A Pool of Blood. The young sailors leapt from one side to another with ease. They landed on the deck of the Victory, brandishing their rifles. Charge! Shouted the admiral as he led his pensioners into battle. The old soldiers were brave and attacked the young sailors with their cutlasses, mops and brooms. Clunk, clink, clunk! They went straight for the rifles, trying to force them to the floor. Meanwhile, Dotty had found an old tin bucket and was washing the young sailors over the head with it. Bish, bash, bosh! Many were knocked out by the force of her blows. Ouch! Thud. Oof! Thud. Ah! Thud. Meanwhile, Elsie attacked the invaders by whacking them on their bottoms with her sail baton. Thwack! Ah! Thwack! Ah! Thwack! Ah! A smile spread across her face. Oh, this was so fun. Woolly joined in too. Woo! With her tusks, the mammoth scooped up a sailor before dropping him in the sea. No! Plop. As Elsie battled on out of the corner of her eye, she could see a cannon on HMS Argonaut swivelling round. Now it was pointing straight at the mammoth. The captain gave the order. Fire at will! No! Screamed Elsie as she put her hands up in the air to shield her friend. The gunner fired, and the huge net shot across the decks of the Victory, trapping the mammoth in its web. Roared Woolly. The poor thing was distressed and began buckling and thrashing around. The more she did so, the more tangled she became. Woolly! Woolly! Cried the girl, trying to calm the creature down to no avail. The mammoth lurched across the deck, bashing into people and things. She swung round and knocked a sailor to the floor. Doof! Ah! Another was trodden on by a giant prehistoric foot. Boof! Ouch! A third sailor became tangled in the net and was dragged across the deck. Help! Still clutching his rifle, the sailor's fingers snagged on the trigger. A shot rang out. Bang! All was quiet and still on board the Victory. Woolly was quiet and still too. She stopped thrashing around and stood motionless for a moment. before she kneeled over and landed with a deafening thud. A pool of blood spread across the deck. "Why? No!" screamed Elsie. Chapter 65. Hard Rain. The old soldiers and the young sailors all worked together to untangle the mammoth from the net. As soon as the captain of HMS Agnaut had hauled 2 of his sailors out of the North Sea, he stepped on board the HMS Victory to help. I'm so sorry this happened," said the captain. Elsie put her hands over the wound in Woolly's chest to stop the flow of blood. "Why did you shoot her?" she cried. "Why?" There was no answer. "Somebody do something," she begged. Dotty put her ear to the animal's mouth. I can't hear her breathing. I'm so sorry, Elsie. I know you loved her and she loved you. But this is the end of the story." "No!" yelled Elsie. Boom! Thunder rolled across the sea. Ahead, black clouds were swirling. A storm was coming. "Sail into the storm!" ordered Elsie. The Admiral looked aghast. "No, it would be the end of us all. It's the only way we can save her." "By sailing into a storm?" demanded the Admiral. "We used lightning to restart her heart before. Maybe we can do it again." Dotty rushed over to where Elsie was trying to stop the flow of blood. "Let me take over," she said. The lady pushed the end of her mop right into the wound, and the flow of blood slowed. "We can tow you into the storm," offered the captain of Agnaut. "No," replied the Admiral. "It's too dangerous. You young sailors have your whole lives ahead of you." He turned to the pensioners. "Men, are you with me?" "Yes, sir," came the reply. "Good luck," said the captain, and he and Admiral saluted each other. "We will make sure our Queen Victoria is told all about your bravery." The captain led his men back on board the Agnaut, as the Admiral called out to his orders. "Set course for the storm!" The men went to work, and soon as HMS Victory was flying into the darkness ahead. "Elsie," began Dotty, "do you know what you're doing? You don't have a balloon or metal wire or anything." I know," the girl choked, fighting back a river of tears. "But there must be a way." Her eyes searched the deck of the Victory. At the bow, she spotted something. "See that metal chain, Titch?" "Yeah," replied the old soldier. "That's for dropping the anchor." "Put the anchor right next to Woolly's heart, and then pass me the end of the chain." "Rightio." Titch scuttled over to the bow, and with the help of his fellow pensioners, he dragged the anchor and chain over to where the mammoth was lying. Elsie took the end of the chain and wrapped it round her wrist. Then she placed a cutlass between her teeth like a pirate, and with her monkey feet began climbing the rigging. "Where do you think you're going?" asked Dotty. "The crow's nest, of course," Elsie replied, her speech hard to understand thanks to the cutlass in her mouth, as the ship crashed up and down on the angry waves. Thump! 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 Elsie climbed up and up and up. Once at the top, she clambered into the crow's nest and looked straight ahead into the storm. "Come on," she whispered to the sky. "Give me everything you've got." All the way up there was the tallest point of the Victory. The rolling of the ship in the waves became exaggerated. Elsie found herself holding on for dear life. She looked down to see the Admiral at the wheel, holding on tightly so the waves didn't hurl him into the sea. Hard rain was flying into the girl's eyes. It was a struggle to keep them open. Soon she was soaked to the skin. The wind wound round her, and the clouds skimmed her hair. "Straight ahead, Admiral," she ordered. "Aye, aye, Captain Elsie," he called back up. Boom! Thunder rumbled across the black sky. "Come on, Lightning," the girl whispered. "I know you're in there somewhere." As if on cue, a flash of lightning illuminated the sky. "Crazzle!" "Are you sure you know what you're doing?" called up Dotty. "No, this is madness." "Good madness or bad madness?" "Good, I hope." Elsie lifted the cutlass high into the air. "But the lightning! Elsie, it could kill you!" shouted Dotty. "If it does, promise you'll look after Woolly for me. Make sure she gets to the North Pole. Please." "Don't do this." "Why?" "I love you, Elsie. You're like a grandma to me." I think you mean granddaughter, Dotty. "And I love you too, but I have to save my friend. Promise you'll look after her." "I promise." A bolt of lightning hit the front sail, and it burst into flames. "Boom! Fire on board!" shouted the Admiral, as his men struggled to put it out. "Nearly," whispered Elsie. She stretched her arm high as it would go and closed her eyes. "Come on!" she shouted. A bolt of lightning struck the tip of the cutlass. "Ah!" cried Elsie as the electricity sizzled through her. Chapter 67. Heads Bowed. The pensioners stood around the body with their heads bowed and their hats held close to their chests. All was quiet and still on the deck of the Victory. However, the mammoth was not giving up on her friend. "Hoo!" To everyone's surprise, Woolly placed her trunk over the girl's nose and mouth and blew into her. "What is the beast doing?" said the Admiral as he tried to keep steering the Victory through the storm. "I think she's trying to resuscitate. Blow air into Elsie," replied Dotty. "Her chest is moving up and down," exclaimed Hitch. "Oh, thank the good Lord for this mercy," cried out Dotty. "She's alive!" Ellie's eyes opened. A huge, wet, furry trunk was staring back at her. At first, she didn't know where she was, or even who she was. But as soon as she realised who was looming over her, she took the trunk in her hands and kissed it. "Oh, thank you, Woolly, I love you!" The mammoth wrapped her trunk round the girl and pulled her close for a cuddle. "Hurrah!" cried the old soldiers. "This is all very well and good, gentlemen, and lady, and girl, and, of course, mammoth, and so on and so forth," began the Admiral. "But can I politely remind you that we are still sailing through the heart of a storm? It's going to take every last man, every last person, and prehistoric animal for us to survive this. Back to work at once." That's the end of these chapters, folks. If you enjoyed, please do not forget to like and subscribe. And comment down below which book I should read after this one. See you guys in the next chapters. Bye-bye. Chapter 67. Heads Bowed. The pensioners stood around the body with their heads bowed and their hats held close to their chests. All was quiet and still on the deck of the Victory. However, the mammoth was not giving up on her friend. "Hoo!" To everyone's surprise, Woolly placed her trunk over the girl's nose and mouth and blew into her. "What is the beast doing?" said the Admiral as he tried to keep steering the Victory through the storm. "I think she's trying to resuscitate. Blow air into Elsie," replied Dotty. "Her chest is moving up and down," exclaimed Hitch. "Oh, thank the good Lord for this mercy," cried out Dotty. "She's alive!" Ellie's eyes opened. A huge, wet, furry trunk was staring back at her. At first, she didn't know where she was, or even who she was. But as soon as she realised who was looming over her, she took the trunk in her hands and kissed it. "Oh, thank you, Woolly, I love you!" The mammoth wrapped her trunk around the girl and pulled her close for a cuddle. "Hurrah!" cried the old soldiers. "This is all very well and good, gentlemen, and lady and girl and, of course, mammoth, and so on and so forth," began the Admiral. "But can I politely remind you that we are still sailing through the heart of a storm? It's going to take every last man, every last person, and prehistoric animal for us to survive this. Back to work at once." That's the end of these chapters, folks. If you enjoyed, please do not forget to like and subscribe. And comment down below which book I should read after this one. See you guys in the next chapters. Bye-bye.